Hey guys, it's Dawn here, and I want to give you an update. It's just an update today, but I'm around 880 miles total experience with EUCs across the Sherman Max, 488, RSHT about 372, and about 20 on the MCM5. Been really busy. Did the 100-mile Mount Baldy ride on one charge. So there was no charging on the ride. So starting with the full charge, we did 100 miles. And that was really fun with Marty, Electric Unicycles. He hosted the ride. Thank you very much. We all had a lot of fun. With that ride, it was really great because we got to do kind of a range test across all different Shermans and different kinds of Shermans. There were original Shermans, there were different version Shermans, I think. There were 3 Sherman Maxes and 1 Monster Pro, I believe. So at the whole entire ride, we every stop, we all checked our voltages, and they all stayed about the same, except for Peter. Peter had the original Sherman, and I think it was the original Sherman, like V1, I think. And his was always about 1 to 2 volts lower than everybody else. But it always stayed about the same throughout the whole entire ride until the very last mile. And then the big differences came up. So Marty, with the Sherman Max, he ended at about 77, 78 volts, and I believe he was beeping, but that's it. I was at 82.95, 83 volts, and I was fine. Still had plenty of power and everything. Lydia is smaller and lighter than I am by a lot, and she was riding an original Sherman, and she was about the same as me, I think. I think she was at 83 volts, and let's see, Cato was riding Lean's Sherman Max, and he ended up at, I think he said 85 volts. I don't know how he did that, unless he just got better regen than everyone else or something. I don't know. But I was not very good. I'm not very disciplined about range tests. I still had zoomies, so my top speed was still around, I think 33, 35 I hit on that ride, versus someone like Marty, who does these all the time. He does long distance rides with no charging, and he is very disciplined, and he doesn't do zoomies. So I still had zoomies, and that's why I ran mine down a little bit more. Plus I'm wearing 20 pounds of gear, not including, okay, so my whole gear, all my gear is 20 pounds. My hip bag is about 5 pounds. My backpack is about 5 pounds. And then extra weight on top of that, like my utility frame that's on my Sherman, and maybe my water bottle is 1.2 pounds for a 32-ounce water bottle, plastic, completely filled with water. So I think I was carrying a lot of weight. I don't... typically guys are like, oh, you're just a girl, you're going to get more range because you're lighter. I'm heavy, like, already, just my own body weight, I'm heavy for a girl, I think. And I'm 5'4", about 135 pounds, plus all of my gear. I carry a ton of gear with me. But I'm one of those people who's like, I want to be prepared for everything, especially if I'm going long distance. So anyways, let's see. So Peter was on the original Sherman, and he ran out of battery at the very last mile, 75 volts. So at around 77 volts, I think he starts beeping. And the Sherman does it different than my RSHT. My RSHT, at low battery, at first it limits my high speed, and then it does a slow beep, and then it progressively gets to where it beeps more and more until it's a consistent beep, and then the beep changes tones, and then it tilts back. And I never actually got it to tilt back because I think the lowest I ever ran it down to was 78 volts, and I still had, it was constantly beeping. It, you know, made me go slow, but it never actually tilted back for me. For the Sherman, it doesn't do that. It just does a steady beep at around 77 volts. It'll do a steady, slow beep, and then at 75 volts, then it tilts back. And it was funny because I stayed with Peter the whole time. I stayed behind him, and you know, we were going real slow, just trying to get him to as close to the end as possible. And then when he tilted back, I could see the tilt back, and I yelled at him. I was like, "Careful! I think you're tilting back. Are you tilting back? I think you're tilting back. I think, you know, I think your pedals are up." And he was like, "Yeah." So he got off, and then I was like, "Okay, don't worry. I'll, you know, you stay here. I will zoom up ahead, and I'll find help, and then we'll come pick you up in a car or something. It's not a big deal." But then James Culver, he actually picked up. He carried the Sherman back to the car, so that was awesome. I got to ride James's M10. What is it? M10. I can't think of M10. M10 3, M10 5. What is it? I don't know. The little itty bitty tiny one. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So I got to ride that a little bit in the parking lot. And I kind of want one because it's so cute and it's amazing. So that was fun. But it was just really interesting to see all of our, you know, how and how all the differences didn't come apparent until the very end. I made a video of my 100-mile ride to Mount Baldy and back, and I was really happy that I made the video because I was able to show that video to Nana Durham, who's 87 years old, and she'll never be able to ride a unicycle. She's at that point where we have to be really careful that she doesn't fall down and stuff, right? So I was able to put up that video on the big screen TV for her, and first she was just amazed about the unicycles and that technology, and then the next day, then she told me, she goes, "You know what? I dreamt that I was riding the unicycle in the mountains, like in your video." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, how was the ride?" And oh my goodness, wind's picking up over here. So she was like, "It was so much fun. It was amazing." She goes, "The only thing was I got really tired at the end of the ride." I was like, "Yep, sounds about right." I was like, "I'm glad you had such a great ride." So I'm really happy that I was able to share that with her, and she was able to experience it in her dreams. And I don't know, it's just so much fun, and I'm having a blast with these EUCs and stuff. So if you don't have one, you know, I mean, do it, try it. You know, I had a steep learning curve, and I think most people do, but it's so worth it. It's so much fun, and it's so versatile. So yeah, that's been great. I did have a second crash. You know about my first crash when I went over the tree stump, and that one was a big owie. This second one wasn't that big of a deal, but it happened right at the beginning of this 100-mile ride, and I gotta stop crashing at the beginning of a big ride. But it was a 100-mile ride, and I've been practicing my seated riding. And so at the beginning of the ride, at one of our first stops, there was a bathroom like way over there, and I was like, I had already taken off my gloves and stuff, and then I saw the bathroom. I was like, "Oh, let me go over there and go bathroom real quick." So I didn't put my gloves back on, and I just jumped on my Max and seated, and then I just zoomed over there because I'm pretty comfortable, you know, sitting and zooming and going, and I like that, but I zoomed a little bit too fast, and I just swallowed wrong again. I zoomed a little bit too fast, and then I tried to slow down, but I started to wobble, and then I think I got a little scared. I put my feet down while going too fast, so my feet, but luckily I knew that I was in trouble, and I was like, "Oh, and I don't have my gloves on," so I tucked, and I tried to do a tuck and roll sort of thing, but not really rolling, just kind of a tough, so I was able to hit with my shoulder first, and then I slid. So my shoulder hit, and then I like hit all across here. Of course, I was in full gear, so nothing bad happened. My armor took the brunt of everything. My armor is all scraped up now from here to here, but you know, it's totally fine, except my body armor, there is a hole in the mesh about that big. And you know, we know that the mesh isn't going to hold up to anything, but that made me think, all right, I'm definitely going to have to protect this mesh if I want this to last, because I'm wearing the Liat 6.5 set. They only sell it in a set. You cannot buy the body protector separately. And I contacted them, you know, I tried everything. No, not happening. They do not sell the body protector separately. So if I want to get the most use out of this thing, I'm going to have to save that mesh. So I'm going to need an outer layer that can take the first impact and save the mesh. I started looking into mesh jackets to put over and stuff, but it's bulkier, it's hotter. Mesh jackets are still expensive. I mean, cheapest you can get one is probably around $100 unless you go really cheap, and all that. So instead, I'm going to try this option. I'm going to use a motocross jersey. So how it's going to be is my body protector, then my motocross jersey over that, and then my chest protector on top of that. Motocross jersey is almost magical. It's so slippery, and it's a very hardy material. And it is, motocross jerseys are made to go over a body armor sort of thing, you know? So that combination is already kind of a proven combination. So I'm going to do that, and I got them. Motocross jerseys range from $25 to $80+. So basically, it's a cheaper, it's protective, it's a cheaper, sacrificial piece of gear. Because first impact will go to that, it'll slide, it'll save the mesh as much as it can, and then I still have the armor underneath and over it to absorb impact forces and stuff like that. So that is a good thing. I did try, what else? I think that was all I was going to talk about for the 100-mile ride. All right, so I did try my knees. Remember I was talking about putting a knee brace or a knee sleeve on with the patella gel insert and all that. Put that on, put on my pants, and then have the CE level 2 armor, and then the Liat knee guard over that. Won't work for me. It's too bulky, and so I have to choose between the knee sleeve, I don't know what that's called. Okay, the knee sleeve thing, or the CE level 2 armor. So I'm choosing the level 2 armor. It's already in the pocket of my lazy rolling slim cargo pants. Easy to put on. It's not that much bulky or anything. So it's just the CE level 2 armor in the lazy rolling slim cargo pants, and then the Liat knee brace over it. And that has been working great. The only thing is, only on my right knee, the shin guard is digging into my shin. For some reason, there's some kind of lever effect that is making the tip of the shin guard dig into my shin. So how, you know, the best thing I found, the quickest, easiest solution for that, and I tried using a shin guard under it as well, but it was too bad. But the best thing was actually to use a square piece of bandana. Now, I always carry square pieces of bandana. I always carry extra bandanas with me, right? You just fold it into a square. You open it up and it becomes a big square. And then, you know, I use it as a helmet liner. If I get hot, I will soak one in water, tie it around my neck. It'll drip. Evaporative action cools me down a lot. I can wipe things with it. It can become a Band-Aid, either tying it onto a wound or placing it on a wound and then wrapping it with duct tape, which I carry a little thing of duct tape with me everywhere. And I mean, it can filter water. The cotton, you can tear that up and it can be tinder to start a fire. It can be used as a little bag to carry things. You can fashion it into a bag. I mean, just like tons and tons of uses for bandanas. And now I added a new one, and that is I just stick the square piece of folded up bandana directly under the Liat knee guard in where the shin part is, and that is giving just enough padding and keeping it off of my shin, and it's so comfortable and so easy, and I already have it. So there is that. So now my whole knee situation is good. For the insoles, I was trying that footprint insole. The footprint insole is really good at absorbing big impacts, but that also makes it also means that it's kind of a hard material. It's not hard, but it's kind of hard and stiff. It's not squishy and soft and cushy on my foot. So at first I had put that footprint King Foam Elite insole directly on top, and I double insole. So I put it directly on top of the original Rock Rooster insole that was already in there, which is really nice and squishy. I didn't like that as much as when I put it underneath the original Rock Rooster or underneath a nice soft jelly or like comfy cushy insert. So basically my foot is on top of something nice and soft and cush, and then that more serious impact shock absorbing one is on the bottom. And that has been working great. I love it. Some people actually don't like the footprint insole, so that is definitely going to be something that is individual preference sort of thing. But so my foot situation is good. My armor, my gear, everything has been working perfectly. My Sherman has been, my Max has been great. There has been more reports of lemon Shermans. A BMS issue with some of the E-Wheels ones. It'll say low battery or bat low or something like that. It'll say a thing on your LED and then it drains down the battery super fast and stuff like that. So if it does that, then it's a lemon. It needs there's something wrong with it. It needs to be fixed because there are also lots of good ones out there, and the good ones are solid and just solid and good. So it just depends on if you get a lemon or not. So definitely that is one that you probably want to get from a reputable dealer or someone that is going to take care of you if you happen to get a lemon. But all my wheels, my RSHG, I'm doing dirt now. So I did the Fullerton loop and went over some little jumps and went over a big drop. To me, it's a big drop. It's like 2-3 times bigger than a curb. So I'm really proud about that. My thing that I can go up steep things very easily, not easily, but I can do it. It's not easy. I focus on just the space of ground right in front of me. I can't look at the whole thing. If I look at the whole thing, I freak out and I say I can't do it. But if I just look at this little space in front of me and just go, okay, I can do it, and I end up at the top, and that's great. But going down a steep thing, when I'm looking down and it looks like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of heights, and I already get scared trying to walk down something like that, much less do it so I don't have enough trust yet to do that. So that's a big hurdle. Night riding is a big hurdle. But there is a night ride this Saturday, so I'm going to try night riding. I'm just doing everything that scares me and I don't know how to do, so I'm doing those and working through each of these fears one by one. But anyways, I am out of time, so thank you for joining me today, and hope everyone is doing well and having fun with their wheels, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.